Okay, so we have talked about dealer's cost. We've talked about buying a new vehicle. Now we're going to talk about buying a used vehicle. So here's the things you need. Purchasing a used vehicle. The objective is to calculate the average retail price or wholesale price of a used vehicle. Now, there's a used vehicle guide. These are guides published monthly that can give the average prices of used cars that were purchased from dealers during the previous month. It used to be a book, now it's online. Kelley Blue Book is an example of that. Okay, and here is the formula that you are going to need for today. Oh, that is already in your notes, so please find that in your notes. That is very important that you have this. It's the average retail value plus additional options, subtract the options, deductions, and mileage deductions. So remember, deductions mean to subtract. Okay? Minus, subtract. That's a deduction, is you're going to take it away. It's a deduction. So, in one example that is also in your notes, find the average wholesale price of a 4-year-old V8 4-door that has no air conditioning but does have a DVD player and a power sunroof. And it has 63,580 miles. So they take the average wholesale price plus, remember, we're going to plus the DVD player and the sunroof. Then you're going to subtract the options and subtract the mileage. And if you do that, you'll get the average wholesale price. Now, to find all those numbers, you're going to be using this table. So you need to take a minute and learn how to read this table. For all the problems, you'll be either a V6 or a V8, okay? Here's the average retail and wholesale, okay? So you're always going to, and if we even go back to that problem, it says average wholesale price of a 4-year-old V8, okay? Wholesale price of a V8 was $13,270. So you can see what your problem, and then you have to match the words in the chart. Okay, so that's the first part. Now there's 2 different more parts, and you can actually even, ooh, this terrible line, but you could draw a line right there, and that might help you. These are adjustments for retail or wholesale, so they're just adjustments. If it doesn't have air conditioning, believe it, at one time, cars didn't have air conditioning, you're going to minus. If it's a manual transmission, I don't even know if they make them anymore, but you're going to minus. Then you're going to add. So this tells you what you deduct and what you add by the words, right? But if you need a little reminder, write some pluses and minuses there. So step 1, step 2, and then step 3, you're going to deduct for mileage. So if it has between 70,000 and 80,000, you're going to deduct 1,774. If it has between 40,000 and 50, you're only going to deduct 175. Okay? So again, find the average retail wholesale price by reading the chart. Add or subtract depending on the options. And then there's a mileage deduction. Okay, if it's got over 100,000 miles, it's 220 per 150 per 10,000. But I think most of our questions just deal with those. If you have not figured out this chart, please talk to Ms. Dahlstrom. Okay, so let's look at some examples. Now, on the next page of your notes is some more room to do this. But I thought this is a nice chart to help us get started. So the average retail price, okay, that's the one you're going to look at. And if we go for a V6, so this is number 4, you would look on the chart. So if you look on the chart, it says 15,500. It has air conditioner, so we don't need to worry about that. No DVD player, power mirrors. So look at my chart, power mirrors. $250. Leather seats, I don't need to worry about that. Bucket seats, that would be $220. And the mileage is actually below this amount, right? It's below that, so it would just be 0. So I'm going to subtract 0. I can just write that in. If you do this on the calculator, you get 15,970. Let's look at number 5. Now, if you would like to try number 5 or 6 on your own, you pause the video and then come back. This is again the same number we're starting with, but it doesn't have AC. So if it doesn't have air conditioning, it's $850. Oops. So I'm to subtract $850. For leather seats, add $240. For power sunroof, I get $475. Now here's the one. Here's my mileage. Okay, now I'm going to go back to my chart and look at that. Mileage falls between 50,000 and 60,000. Okay, so remember the mileage was, 58,400. So that would fall here. So I'm going to subtract. These are all ones you will be subtracting. $675. And I get 14,690. Okay, now if you are looking at this and you're like, where did she get that 240? Or where did she get the 475? This is a good time to ask if you go back to the chart and you can't figure it out. Now, the last one is a V8. So this is when I start with 16,675. It has air, has a DVD player, so I'm going to go back. A DVD player is $540. Power mirror and leather seats, so that's plus $250 plus $240. Got a good plus sign. This is no power sunroof. Wait, I think I got that. Power sunroof is $475. Nope. Gotta add that. Plus $475. Now I'm looking at my mileage. I'm gonna deduct this. So I'm gonna go and look at my mileage and deduct that amount because it's between 80 and 90,000, and I will get 16,155. Okay, so please let me know if you have questions. Another thing is, while you're doing the practice, I will have this other chart, and you can see how it's kind of broken down. So you could write all your additions, write all your subtractions, write your mileage. So it lays it out nice. So if you wanted to do this, to use this chart to do your practice, that will be available. Now it's time to complete that practice.